Well, hello Year 13. I thought that I would produce a video for you ahead of results day tomorrow. I hope you've all had a very good summer despite the miserable weather and that you've been able to get away. I went off on my holiday at 5 a.m. 2 weeks ago in the morning and just quietly minding my own business in Headington when I came across four of you who had looked like you'd had an interesting night out and were trying to work out how to use Voice. I hope you managed to get home safely in the end. Okay, so let me just explain a little bit about tomorrow. So we will be open at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for you to come in and get your exam results. Please don't arrive before that time, but if you arrive at 8, we will let you in. Those of you who have applied to university, then UCAS Track will also open at 8 o'clock, and you will then be able to find out whether you've got into your firm or your insurance university. You've got a choice in terms of whether you decide to look at your results first and then look to see if you've got into uni, or look to see whether you got into the uni first and then look at the results. Whatever you do is completely up to you. Now, if you're not able to make results day tomorrow, then hopefully you have already told Mrs. Stiff, if not, I'm afraid it's too late, that you've already told her that you can't come in, and you have asked for an alternative person to come in and collect the results for you. Now, don't forget that that person must come in with photo ID. If they don't come in with photo ID, we cannot release your results to them, and you must have emailed Mrs. Stiff in order to let her know. But as I said, I'm afraid it's too late now if you suddenly realise that you can't be bothered to turn up tomorrow. So we will see you at 8 o'clock. And then results will be handed out. You will also find on your results the actual mark that you've got, and then you can now also find out how close you were to the grade boundary. So if you find a subject leader in the common room, they will then be able to tell you how close you were to the grade boundary. And you might decide, for example, that if you're maybe just 1 or 2 marks below the grade boundary, you might decide that you actually want to get it remarked. Now, there is a cost in order to get any paper remarked, and each paper costs an individual amount. So it's not like the whole A-level you pay for each paper. And if your result goes up, then you get that money back, okay? But it's not cheap. And you'll find out exactly how much it is tomorrow. And there is also the danger that the mark can go down as well. Now, obviously, if you're only 1 or 2 marks away from the grade boundary, then getting a remark, there's not going to be much of a danger there in terms of you going down a grade. But that is always a risk, and it's worth you weighing that up and talking to members of staff when you're in here tomorrow, if you think that's something that you might do. So I hope that you've all get the results that you were hoping for tomorrow, and that you're all able to go on and do exactly what you wanted to do. But inevitably on results day, there will always be disappointments. And I will be here in my office. That's normally where I position myself. So please come and say hello to me. Even if you've done well, come and say hello to me. It's great to share your news. But primarily, I'll be dealing with people where things haven't gone according to how you had hoped. So that's all that I need to say to those of you who aren't going to uni. But to those of you who are going to uni, then I've put together this video in terms of what will actually happen tomorrow. And hopefully you'll find it helpful in terms of listening to this. So to those of you who aren't going to uni, bye-bye, I'll see you tomorrow. But of course, do feel free to continue listening to this. Or if you think, actually, maybe I am thinking I do now want to go to university, it's not too late. And I will talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the video. So those of you who applied to uni, first of all, number of choices. So for some of you, you will get your firm choice, and hopefully that will be happy days. Either you've got the grades that they actually required, or even if you haven't got the grades, they may still decide that they still want you at the uni. So for example, if you come in and look at your results first, don't assume if you haven't got what the university required, don't assume that therefore you've been rejected. They still may have accepted you despite you not actually getting the grades that you wanted. Now, your insurance choice, if you've got your firm, your insurance choice will have been deleted. It will no longer exist. So you can't tomorrow come in and go, oh, actually, I don't think I want to go to my firm anymore. I want to go to my insurance. That offer has gone. Okay. Now, you can do something about that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So that's one group of you. Another group of you, unfortunately, will find that you've been rejected from your firm, but you will find that you've been accepted by your insurance. And hopefully, again, that will be happy days as you've got into the university that hopefully you're interested in, and there's not much else for you to do. Okay, now you might decide that actually you don't want to go to your insurance and you only put it down because you couldn't think of any other place to go to, and that you don't actually want to go there anymore. Those of you who put down your firm, you might decide that you don't want to go there anymore either. Okay, now if that is the situation that you find yourself in, then you can go into UCAS Track and you can do what is called Decline My Place. Okay, and there is a button in UCAS Track and you press it, and that will therefore decline your firm or your insurance choice. Now, it's really important that you only make that decision when you are absolutely certain that you are wanting to decline your place, because it is a decision which cannot be reversed. It is a little bit like a divorce, saying, that's it, I've finished with you. You can't then the next day turn around and go, actually, I've changed my mind. Actually, I think I do still want to be married to you. Well, I'm afraid it's too late. You've now got to re-propose and you've then got to get married again. The same thing with UCAS. If you decline your place at your uni, you will then have to reapply and go through the whole process all over again. Now, there will be lots of warnings that will appear to you when you decline your place, and it will ask you the reason why you're doing it, but be really careful and absolutely certain that that is what you want to do, okay? Now, if you're wanting to do that because you're wanting to enter into clearing, don't make that decision straight away, okay? So let me talk about, and you need to keep on listening. So let me talk to those of you who unfortunately will find that you have been rejected from both your firm and your insurance, and you will then land yourself up in clearing. Okay. So clearing is, as I've said this to you before, it is a stressful time, but it's a simple process. Okay. It's stressful because you haven't got the exams you wanted, you haven't got into the university you've wanted, and you're also going to be sitting on a phone endlessly waiting for somebody to answer the phone. So it is stressful because of that, but it is fairly simple and straightforward. And there are a number of things which you can do this evening before tomorrow if you think there is a chance which you might land up in clearing. It's better to do it tonight than tomorrow. So what you can do is you can go onto the UCAS website and you can put in and go into the course search, which you're familiar with, and you choose 2023 entry, and then it will then give you the option of seeing the options in clearing. Click on that, and then it will list all of the subjects which are in clearing. There are other websites as well that you can use, okay, but UCAS is obviously the most reliable. So that will come up with a list of all the courses which are available in clearing. And that list is constantly updated, okay? So it is worth you keeping on going back to it. And it is open now. It's been open since the beginning of July. So all the courses in clearing are currently in there, but check again tomorrow as well. And what I suggest you do is you look through that and you look at the courses that you think you might be interested in if you find yourself in clearing. And then some really important things to do is to make a note of the course code, make a note of the telephone number, and then make sure so that when you then come in tomorrow, if you find yourself in clearing, you've then immediately got a list of the universities that you're interested in, you've got their phone numbers, and you can just get on the phone and start phoning them immediately, okay? The hassle is if you've come in and it's completely unexpected, and then you're having to search through for any options which are on the website. Now, it's also worth saying that clearing is going to be really busy this year. It's busy every year, but this year it's scheduled to be really busy because of the changing of the grades. So it's thought that at least, well, there's currently, I think, 35,000 courses in clearing. And last year there was about 35,000 people that found a place through clearing. So that means that when you're phoning the university, there are 34,999 other people who are also phoning up the universities as well. So therefore there is a lot of waiting around, hanging on the telephone, waiting for people to answer the phone. So you just need to be patient and persistent. Now, the other thing to say about clearing is that you can only enter one choice into clearing, and you can only do that from 1 o'clock tomorrow. However, you can phone up the universities anytime from 8 o'clock onwards, and peak time for phoning up the universities is between 10 and 11. So again, my strong suggestion is that you get here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and if you land up in clearing, you get on the phone straight away, okay? You don't really want to be getting on the phone between 10 and 11 when all those other 30,000 odd people are going to be phoning at the same time as well. Okay, so just make sure that you get onto the phone as quickly as possible. Okay, there are phones here which we can use, but presumably you have your phone as well. Now, the other thing to say is that if you are hoping to get into a Russell group, okay, there's been quite a lot in the press about this, is that places in the Russell group are going to be very restricted. So if you are keen on going to a Russell group university, you will need to get onto that phone at 8 o'clock straight away, okay, because they've only got limited places available. And there's been lots this year that actually they got far fewer places than in normal years. So be prepared for that. Now, what happens is that when you phone the university, okay, they will then ask you what your results were. So you need to tell them your results. They will then also ask you probably your clearing number. Now, if you're one of those people who haven't entered clearing because you've got your firm insurance, but you've decided that you don't want to go there, that doesn't matter. You can still phone them, okay? And they will then give you a verbal offer. And now that verbal offer is time bound, and you need to find out from them how long you have in order to accept the offer. Okay, don't accept it. You can't accept it on the phone. Okay, but you need to find out from them, you know, how long have I got? A week, 2 weeks before actually accepting that offer. And you can phone up as many universities as you like, okay, and get as many verbal offers as you want. And then when it comes to 1 o'clock tomorrow, you've then got to enter one into clearing, okay? And you can only enter one unless you've entered one and then they don't respond. You can then enter another and so on, okay? But you've got to decide on the one that you want to enter. Now, for those of you who've decided that you don't want to go to your firm and insurance, okay? Once you've got a verbal offer, that's the time when you can then decline your place and then put in the offer into clearing at 1 o'clock. Okay, but as I said, do not decline your place until you've got a verbal offer through clearing. Okay, then what will happen is that you will then enter your UCAS number and also your clearing code into clearing. And then the university will basically check that you have not been telling porkies, okay? So as long as you say you got 3 Cs and you did get 3 Cs, then that's great. But obviously if they then find out you got 3 Ds, then they will then rescind the offer. So just make sure you tell the truth. And that's basically it in terms of clearing, okay? But please do come and speak to me and I can help you in terms of navigating your way through that. Now, for those of you who haven't applied to uni, you might now be sitting there thinking to yourself, actually, I think I'd quite like to go to uni. Well, it's not too late. So again, if you look in clearing and you see that there are some courses in clearing which interest you, you can still apply to uni, and you can still apply until it's sometime in the middle of September, okay? Now, you'll need to email me because I will need to provide a reference for you, and that's absolutely fine, happy to do that. You still got to do a personal statement. So everything else you have to do. The only thing you don't do is put in your 5 choices. Okay, you just leave that blank because that's irrelevant now because you're going into clearing. Okay, but everything else is exactly the same. But again, come and speak to me or email me if you want to help in terms of that. Okay, anyway, hopefully that makes everything clear for you. You may want to watch this video again tomorrow, really, if you find yourself in clearing or if you've got any questions. Okay, but otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow morning and really hope that you have a happy day tomorrow. All right, cheers then. Bye-bye.